Almost 30 years after his death, Tupac Shakur's murder remains unsolved. Aside from his popular hits like California Love and I Ain't Mad at Cha, Shakur, who's more commonly known as Tupac, is also greatly remembered by many because of his tragic and controversial death. Many theories have been linked to his death, but nothing has been confirmed until today, mostly because of uncooperative witnesses. But police have recently released new information about Shakur's death. Could this finally solve the case? Hi, welcome to our channel. In this video, we're going to look at the unsolved murder case of Tupac Shakur, better known as the rapper icon Tupac, and revisit the details of his mysterious death. Has the latest information shared by the police finally figured out who caused his death? Before we find out the answer to that question, have you listened to any of Tupac's songs before? Tell us in the comments below. First, let's get to know the legendary Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur, a famous rapper and actor, was one of the best-selling artists ever. He represented the gangster rap style of the 1990s, and after his death, became a symbol of a noble struggle. Tupac started his music career as a rebellious figure, aiming to express the ongoing hardships and injustices faced by many Black Americans. Over time, the line between his art and personal life became less clear as he encountered legal issues and served time in jail. On his fourth album, All Eyes on Me, Tupac fully embraced and celebrated the thug lifestyle. Unfortunately, this was the last album Tupac saw released before his passing. Tupac Amaru Shakur, originally named Lasan Parish Crooks, was born on June 16, 1971, in the Harlem neighborhood of New York City. His mother, Afeni Shakur, was a political activist and a former member of the Black Panther Party. In 1969, his mother faced legal troubles, accused of plotting coordinated attacks on police stations and offices in New York City. During her time out on bail, she became pregnant with Tupac, and in 1971, she successfully defended herself in court, leading to her acquittal. He was renamed Tupac Amaru Shakur in honor of Tupac Amaru II, who led an uprising in the Andean region of Peru. His mother explained, "I chose this name because I wanted him to bear the name of revolutionary figures from various indigenous cultures worldwide. I wanted him to understand that he was connected to a global heritage, not limited to just his neighborhood." Tupac's passion for hip-hop diverted him from a criminal path, at least for a time. When he was 17, during the spring of 1989, he struck up a friendship with Layla Steinberg. They met when she was conducting poetry sessions in an Oakland park. As detailed in Michael Eric Dyson's book, Holler If You Hear Me, Searching for Tupac Shakur. Tupac had already been deeply engrossed in writing poetry, and he convinced Steinberg, despite her lack of experience in the music industry, to take on the role of his manager. She eventually managed to arrange a meeting between Tupac and music manager Atron Gregory, who in 1990 secured a position for him as a roadie and backup dancer with the hip-hop group Digital Underground. Shortly afterward, he seized the opportunity to start rapping, marking his first recording appearance in 1991 with Same Song, a track featured in the Dan Aykroyd comedy film Nothing But Trouble. Tupac also contributed to Digital Underground's album Sons of the P in that same October. With Gregory taking on the role of Tupac's manager, he successfully secured a contract for the emerging rapper with Interscope Records. Just a month after the release of Sons of the P, Tupac launched his debut solo album titled Tupacalypse Now. While it didn't produce any chart-topping songs, the album achieved a respectable sales figure of 500,000 copies and solidified Tupac's reputation as a fearless social critic. This was evident in tracks like Brenda's Got a Baby, which tells the story of a young mother's descent into poverty, and Soulja's Story, which garnered controversy for its lyrics about confronting a police officer and taking action against law enforcement. Tupac, despite releasing only 4 albums during his lifetime, boasts a discography that includes 21 albums. Among these, 10 have achieved platinum, multi-platinum, or diamond certifications. As of July 2023, the Recording Industry Association of America ranks Tupac as the 45th highest-selling artist of all time when considering album sales and streaming data. Globally, Forbes reports that over 75 million Tupac records have been sold to date. Have you remembered any Tupac songs that were mentioned? And upon hearing about his life, what are your personal thoughts about him so far? Comment on them below. Before Tupac dropped his third album, he found himself in a dangerous situation. In November 1994, he was the victim of a shooting in the lobby of the Quad recording studio in Manhattan, where he sustained multiple gunshot wounds from two young African-American men. Tupac suspected that his rap rival Biggie Smalls might have been involved in the attack, although no one was ever charged in connection with the incident. Smalls consistently denied any knowledge of the shooting. In June 1996, Tupac released a diss track titled "Hit 'Em Up," targeting not only Biggie Smalls but also Sean Diddy Combs, the head of Bad Boy Records. This song further escalated the tensions between East Coast and West Coast rap. In this provocative track, Tupac also directed strong criticism at artists like Lil' Kim, Junior Mafia, and Prodigy of Mobb Deep. The rivalry between Tupac and Biggie was quickly becoming one of the most well-known and contentious feuds in hip-hop history. "Hit 'Em Up" appeared to eerily foreshadow Tupac's eventual death and the following generation of conspiracy theories. Grab your Glocks when you see Tupac. Call the cops when you see Tupac. Who shot me, but you punks didn't finish? Now you're about to feel the wrath of a menace. Months later, Tupac passed away on September 13, 1996, just 6 days after an unidentified assailant in a white Cadillac shot him 4 times in the chest while he was stopped at a traffic light in Las Vegas. During the fatal shooting, he was accompanied by former Death Row Records CEO, Suge Knight, in a car when a white Cadillac, containing 2 or 3 individuals, pulled up alongside them and discharged gunfire into the passenger side of their vehicle. Investigators from that time mentioned that specific details were scarce because those traveling in Tupac's 10-car group did not provide much information as witnesses. It was reported that Shakur was the primary target of the shooting, which ultimately led to his demise, according to authorities at the time. Around 13 or 14 rounds were discharged, with the majority directed at the passenger side of the vehicle, a spokesperson from the Las Vegas police noted at the time. "We have a strong reason to believe that Shakur was the intended victim." Chuck Phillips, a journalist who won the Pulitzer Prize, suggested that Tupac Shakur's rival, the New York rapper known as Notorious Big, or Christopher Wallace, may have supplied the firearm and had previously made an offer to pay the Crips gang members if they succeeded in assassinating Tupac. The animosity between the two rappers had escalated to the point where Wallace allegedly offered a substantial sum of $1 million for Shakur's murder. According to Phillips's article, the individual responsible for the attack, Orlando Anderson, had used Wallace's .40 caliber Glock pistol. Both Anderson and Wallace met with fatal outcomes within 2 years following Tupac's death. Phillips based his reporting on interviews conducted with a group of individuals who agreed to share their knowledge of the case in exchange for anonymity. While his Los Angeles Times investigation received praise for its thorough presentation and logical organization, it faced criticism for relying on undisclosed sources, especially those who implicated 2 deceased individuals and whose claims could not be independently verified. The prevailing theory regarding Tupac's death suggests it had connections to gang activity, primarily because Tupac's record label, Death Row Records, and its founder, Suge Knight, had affiliations with the LA gang Mob Piru, who were known adversaries of the Compton Crips. In fact, an LAPD insider informed people in 2017 that Tupac's killing was likely an act of gang retaliation. Lately, there has been a resurgence in the investigation into the long-standing unsolved murder of Tupac Shakur. After nearly 30 years, there was a fresh development when Nevada authorities executed a search warrant this week in relation to the rapper's shooting, as officially confirmed. Additional information has surfaced regarding the residence that was subject to the search. Public records indicate a connection to an individual whose nephew was previously considered a suspect shortly following the rapper's murder. Las Vegas law enforcement carried out a search warrant related to the murder of Shakur, who was fatally shot on September 7, 1996. The warrant was executed on Monday in the neighboring city of Henderson, at a residence associated with Dwayne "Keffe D. Davis, who describes himself as a gangster. Davis is the uncle of Orlando Anderson, Shakur's well-known adversary who has been a long-standing suspect in the rapper's murder case. Anderson had denied any involvement in Shakur's killing at the time, and subsequently passed away 2 years later in an unrelated gang-related shooting in Compton, California. As per a copy of the warrant acquired on Thursday, investigators seized various items during the search, including multiple computers, a mobile phone, what were described as documentary documents, a Vibe magazine featuring Shakur, several .40 caliber bullets, 2 containers holding photographs, and a copy of Davis's 2019 memoir, Compton Street Legend. An insider with direct knowledge of the investigation, who wasn't authorized to speak publicly, disclosed that a case is currently being presented to a grand jury in Las Vegas. However, the specific timing and outcomes of these proceedings remain uncertain, and the individual did not provide information about the 2 individuals encountered by the police at the residence during the search. For a while now, investigators have held the belief that the shooter is most likely deceased, having fallen victim to a different shooting 2 years following the drive-by incident in Las Vegas. The ongoing investigation has the potential to establish the identities of the individuals who were in the car with the gunman when the fatal shots were fired at Tupac. This could ultimately result in someone being charged as an accomplice. In June 2023, Tupac Shakur was honored with a posthumous star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Radio personality Big Boy, who hosted the event, commented, "He challenged the boundary separating art and activism." Shakur continues to be an enduring and influential figure in the world of hip-hop. The unsolved nature of his death has given rise to numerous conspiracy theories among his fans and added an element of mystery to any new developments in the case. Even though his life was tragically cut short, his music career has undeniably left a lasting impact on countless hip-hop and rap fans. What are your final thoughts on his death? Do you think that recent investigations will reveal that his murder was gang-related, or that he was intentionally murdered by an enemy? Let us know your comments below. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching.